She collapsed, and everyone walked away, except him. It was a scorching Tuesday afternoon at Katsina Central Market. The sun burned like judgment from above, and the air buzzed with the chaos of survival. Traders shouting, customers bargaining, children weaving through the crowd. Then suddenly, thud. A pregnant woman collapsed in the middle of the path. Her small bowl of red peppers scattered across the dusty ground like spilled blood. People gathered. They stared. They whispered. "Maybe she's pretending," one voice sneered. "These girls don't take care of themselves," another muttered. She lay there, sweating, breath shallow, and not one person helped. Then, a black Range Rover with tinted windows glided to a stop. Doors opened. Bodyguards stepped out. And then he appeared. Tall, mid-40s, white kaftan, sunglasses, wealth wrapped in silence. He ignored his guards' warnings and knelt in the dirt. "She's burning up," he said. "How long?" "10 minutes," an old man replied. The man removed his sunglasses. His sharp eyes flared with compassion and rage. 10 minutes and no one helped? He gently lifted her into his car with the help of his bodyguards. A gasp. "That's Chief Bako!" The crowd erupted. Phones flashed. But one old woman whispered, "Destiny just walked in." Let's dive into the main story. Thanks for stopping by. Her name was Amara Musa, and she was dying slowly. 23 years old, 8 months pregnant, and completely, utterly alone. Every morning at 5 a.m., she would wake up in her tiny one-room apartment in Yama, the kind of place where the walls were so thin you could hear your neighbor's thoughts. Her stomach would growl desperately, but there was no food, no money, no hope. "Just hold on, baby," she would whisper to her unborn child, rubbing her swollen belly. "Mama will find something today. I promise." But promises don't fill empty stomachs. Amara would then begin her daily journey. 5 kilometers on foot, carrying a small basin of peppers on her head under the scorching sun. Her swollen feet would ache with every step, but she had no choice. You see, 3 months ago, her husband Musa had looked her straight in the eye and said coldly, "I'm not ready for this responsibility." And just like that, poof, he vanished. No goodbye, no explanation, no forwarding address. He left her with nothing except a growing belly, unpaid rent, and the crushing weight of survival. Amara, the other market women would whisper behind her back. "See how pregnancy has reduced her. She used to be so beautiful, so full of life." They weren't wrong. Before the pregnancy, before the abandonment, Amara had been studying business administration at Kaduna Polytechnic. She was in her final year, so close to graduation, so close to a better life. But life had other plans. Now she spent her days sitting on a torn mat, selling peppers for 20-30 naira each, barely making enough to buy one meal a day. Today was different though. Today she hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. Her body was failing. Her baby was demanding nutrients she didn't have, and her spirit was breaking. As she arranged her peppers that Tuesday afternoon, her vision started blurring. "Not today," she whispered desperately. "Please." Not today, but her body had made its decision. This was her breaking point. Inside the Range Rover, Chief Bako held Amara's head gently against his chest, feeling her weak heartbeat through her thin wrapper. "Drive to Barao Diko Hospital. Now!" he commanded his driver, his voice tight with urgency. "Sir, that's a government hospital," his bodyguard protested nervously. "Maybe we should take her to a private—" Did I stutter? Bako's eyes flashed dangerously. "The nearest hospital, move." As the car sped through traffic, Amara's eyes fluttered open for just a moment. She saw expensive leather seats, smelled rich cologne, felt strong arms holding her safely. Am I dead?" she whispered weakly. Bako looked down at her with surprising gentleness. "No, sister, you're safe now. Just rest." Her eyes widened in shock, not because of where she was, but because this powerful man had called her sister. When was the last time anyone had spoken to her with such kindness? My peppers," she mumbled, trying to sit up. "I need to go back. My peppers." "Forget the peppers," Bako said firmly, gently pushing her back down. "Your life is more important than peppers." Tears rolled down Amara's cheeks. "You don't understand." "That's all I have." If I don't sell them, my baby and I won't eat tonight. Something cracked in Bako's chest hearing those words. His mind flashed back 20 years. To another pregnant woman, another moment when he could have helped, but chose to run instead. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Amara." "Amara Musa," she replied, her voice barely audible. "Amara," he repeated, as if testing how the name felt on his tongue. "You will never have to worry about food again. I promise you that." She stared at him in disbelief. But you don't even know me. Why would you?" "Because," Bako said, his jaw tightening as painful memories flooded back. "A long time ago, I failed someone who needed me. I won't make that mistake twice." The car pulled into the hospital compound, and immediately everything changed. Back at the market, the Range Rover's departure left behind something more explosive than dust. Chaos. "Did you people see what I just saw?" screamed Mama Khan, the tomato seller, her voice cutting through the afternoon air like a machete. Chief Bako, carrying a pepper seller." Another woman gasped, fanning herself frantically with her wrapper. The entire market had transformed into a buzzing hive of gossip, speculation, and wild theories. "I'm telling you, that girl must be his secret wife," declared Malam Sul, adjusting his cap knowingly. "Secret wife?" Mama Halima laughed bitterly. "Look at her condition. Does she look like someone a billionaire would marry? She can't even afford proper slippers." "Then why did he help her?" Someone shouted from the crowd. Maybe she's carrying his child," whispered a young girl, her eyes wide with scandal. "Tufi Aqua," an elderly woman hissed. "Don't speak evil of that man. Chief Bako is a respected person." But the theories kept flowing like water from a broken dam. "I heard rich men like to help random people for good luck. Maybe it's for social media. You know how these big men like publicity?" Or maybe she reminded him of someone. Mama Amina, the oldest trader in the market, had been sitting quietly, listening to all the noise. Finally, she stood up slowly, her walking stick tapping the ground for attention. "All of you, shut up," she commanded, and surprisingly, the market fell silent. She pointed her gnarled finger toward the direction the car had disappeared. "You want to know why that man helped our Amara?" she asked, her ancient voice carrying wisdom. "It's because some people are chosen by God to be angels in human form." She paused dramatically, looking at each face in the crowd. "And sometimes, when destiny is ready to move, it doesn't send thunder and lightning." Another pause. "It sends a billionaire in a Range Rover." The market fell into stunned silence, as if her words had cast a spell over everyone. Because deep down, they all knew she was right. The moment Chief Bako's Range Rover pulled into Barao Diko Hospital, everything changed. Nurses and doctors came running, not because they recognized the emergency, but because they recognized him, Chief Bako. Dr. Ibrahim, the head physician, rushed out personally. "Sir, what brings you to our humble hospital?" Bako carried Amara out of the car, her head still resting against his chest. "This woman needs immediate medical attention. She's 8 months pregnant, and she collapsed from malnutrition." "Of course, sir, of course," Dr. Ibrahim stammered, snapping his fingers at the nurses. "Bring a stretcher." Quickly. As they wheeled Amara into the emergency ward, Bako followed closely behind, but then stopped suddenly at the entrance. His bodyguards gathered around him, confused by his strange behavior. "Sir, are you all right?" his head security asked. Bako stared at the hospital corridors, his hands trembling slightly, his mind traveling back 22 years. Flashback. He was 21 then, a university student with big dreams but empty pockets. There was a girl, Hawa, beautiful, intelligent, full of life. She had come to him one evening, tears in her eyes. "Bako, I'm pregnant." "Sir?" his bodyguard called again, concerned. Bako blinked, returning to the present. His jaw tightened as the painful memory crashed over him like a wave. He had searched for Hawa years later, when success had made him realize his mistake, but she had vanished completely. No trace, no forgiveness, no second chance. "I failed her," he whispered to himself, his voice heavy with regret. But today, Tody was different. His heart breaking, but his ambition stronger than his love. "That's not my problem anymore," He walked out and never looked back until today. The hospital corridors smelled of disinfectant and broken dreams when Dr. Musa Abdullahi finally emerged from the emergency room. Chief Bako had been pacing for 2 hours, his expensive kaftan now wrinkled from worry. His bodyguards standing awkwardly in the corner, unsure why their boss was so invested in a complete stranger. "Doctor, how is she?" Bako asked immediately, his voice tight with anxiety. Dr. Abdullahi removed his stethoscope slowly, his face grave. "She's stable now." "But Chief, I have to be honest with you." Bako's heart stopped. "What do you mean?" "This young woman is severely malnourished," the doctor continued, shaking his head sadly. "Her blood pressure was dangerously low, she's anemic, and her baby. The baby is at risk." "At risk of what?" Bako demanded. "Premature birth, low birth weight, developmental issues." The doctor listed grimly. "Chief, when did she last eat a proper meal?" Bako's jaw clenched. I don't know. I just found her collapsed in the market. From her condition, I'd say she hasn't had adequate nutrition in weeks, maybe months." Dr. Abdullahi looked directly at Bako. "This isn't just hunger, Chief. This is starvation." The word hit Bako like a physical blow. Starvation. In his Nigeria. In 2025, a pregnant woman starving. "What does she need?" Bako asked, his voice suddenly deadly serious. "Everything," the doctor replied. "Immediate 4 fluids, nutritional supplements, proper meals, prenatal vitamins, complete bed rest, and constant monitoring until delivery." "And the cost?" Dr. Abdullahi hesitated. "For everything she needs, including delivery and postnatal care, it could be upwards of 500,000 naira. To most Nigerians, that was a fortune. To Chief Bako, it was pocket change." "Doctor," Bako said, pulling out his phone, "I want you to give her the best care this hospital can provide. VIP treatment. Private room. Everything." "Sir, are you sure? That's a lot of money for..." "For what?" Bako's eyes flashed dangerously. "For a human life?" He dialed his accountant immediately. "Transfer 2 million naira to Barao Dikko Hospital, now." Because this wasn't just about money anymore. This was about redemption. The first thing Amara noticed was the softness. Soft pillow under her head. Soft blanket covering her body. Soft light filtering through clean curtains. Where was she? Her eyes fluttered open slowly, and she found herself staring at a white ceiling with no leaks, no water stains, no cobwebs. This wasn't her tiny room in Ungor Yama. She tried to sit up, but a gentle 4-tube in her arm reminded her to move carefully. The room was beautiful, private, expensive. Easy, a deep voice said softly from the corner. Amara's head turned quickly, and her breath caught in her throat. There he was, the man from the market. The man who had carried her, sitting in a leather chair beside her bed, his expensive clothes now rumpled from staying overnight. She whispered, her voice hoarse. Are you really Chief Bako? He smiled gently, leaning forward. I am, but you can call me Ibrahim. That's my real name. Ibrahim. It sounded so normal, so human. Ibrahim, she repeated slowly, testing the name. Why? Why am I here? This room looks so expensive. I can't afford... He interrupted gently. Don't worry about money. The doctor says you're going to be fine. You and your baby. Amara's hand immediately went to her belly, tears beginning to form in her eyes. Is my baby okay? Your baby is strong, Ibrahim said warmly. Just like his mother. The tears came freely now, not from sadness, but from overwhelming relief and gratitude. I don't understand, she sobbed. Why are you doing this for me? You don't even know me. I'm nobody. I'm just a poor pepper seller with no husband, no family, no. Stop, Ibrahim said firmly but kindly. He moved his chair closer to her bed. Amara, look at me. She met his eyes through her tears. You are not nobody. You are a woman who walked 5 kilometers every day while pregnant just to survive. You are a mother fighting for her child. You are brave, you are strong, and you deserve kindness. More tears fell. But why you? Why did you help me? Ibrahim was quiet for a long moment, his eyes distant with old pain. Because A long time ago, I failed someone who needed me. I won't make that mistake again. Later that night, when the hospital had grown quiet and the nurses had finished their rounds, Amara found herself unable to sleep. Ibrahim was still there, still sitting in that chair, as if he was afraid she might disappear if he left. "Ibrahim," she whispered into the darkness. "Yes? Can I tell you something? Something I've never told anyone?" He leaned forward attentively. "Of course." Amara took a shaky breath, her hands unconsciously moving to her belly. "I wasn't always like this, poor, selling peppers in the market," she began slowly. 2 years ago, I was a final year student at Kaduna Polytechnic, business administration. I was going to graduate with distinction. Ibrahim listened intently, saying nothing. "I had dreams, you know?" she continued, her voice growing stronger. "I wanted to start my own business. Maybe export agricultural products, help other young women." Her voice cracked slightly. "Then I met Musa. He was handsome, charming. He told me he loved me. He promised we would build a future together." Ibrahim's jaw tightened, sensing where this story was heading. "When I got pregnant, everything changed. Musa said he wasn't ready to be a father, that I was trying to trap him, that the baby would ruin his life." She paused, tears flowing silently. "So he left, just like that, and my parents, they were so disappointed, so ashamed, they stopped sending money for school. I couldn't pay my fees. I couldn't continue." "Amara," Ibrahim started, but she wasn't finished. "I lost everything, Ibrahim. My education, my dreams, my family support, everything." Her voice dropped to barely a whisper. "And you know what the worst part is?" "What?" "I don't even care about myself anymore. I just want this baby to live. Even if I don't survive the delivery, even if I die tomorrow, I just want my child to have a chance at the life I couldn't give them." The room fell into heavy silence. Ibrahim stared at her, his heart breaking and filling with rage at the same time. This woman, this incredibly strong woman, was ready to die just so her child could live. "You're not going to die, Amara," he said fiercely. "I won't let that happen." The next morning, Ibrahim sat in his Range Rover outside the hospital, his phone pressed to his ear, his voice sharp with determination. "Barrister Yunusa, I need you to listen carefully," he said to his lawyer. "I want you to set up a trust fund immediately." "A trust fund, Chief? For how much?" came the confused voice from the other end. 50 million naira. Silence. "Chief, did you say 50 million? For who?" "For a young woman named Amara Musa and her unborn child," Ibrahim replied without hesitation. "I want it structured so she can access funds monthly. Enough to live comfortably, complete her education, and start her own business." "But Chief, forgive me for asking, who is this woman? Is she family? A business partner?" Ibrahim stared through the tinted windows at the hospital building where Amara was recovering. He paused, searching for the right words. "She's someone who reminds me of who I used to be, and who I should have been." "I don't understand, Chief." "You don't need to understand, Barrister, just do it." Ibrahim's voice grew firm. "And I want another account set up for her medical expenses, delivery costs, postnatal care, everything. No limits." "Chief, this is very generous, but nothing." Ibrahim's voice boomed. 22 years ago, I abandoned a pregnant woman because I was selfish and scared. I left her to suffer alone while I chased money and success. His voice cracked slightly. "I became rich, Barrister, but I lost my soul in the process. Now God has given me a chance to make things right." There was a long pause. "What happened to the first woman, Chief?" Ibrahim closed his eyes, pain washing over his face. "I don't know. I tried to find her years later, but she had disappeared. I never even knew if my child survived." Another pause. "So this young woman, this is my redemption," Ibrahim said quietly. "This is God giving me a second chance to be the man I should have been the first time." "I understand now, Chief. I'll prepare everything today." "Good. And Barrister?" "Yes, Chief. Make sure she never has to beg for anything. Ever again." 3 weeks later, at 2:47 a.m. on a cool Thursday morning, Amara's water broke. "Ibrahim!" She screamed from her hospital bed, her voice cutting through the quiet night like lightning. He had been sleeping in the chair beside her, as he had every night for the past 3 weeks. and instantly bolted upright. I'm here, he said, rushing to her side. What's happening? The baby is coming now. Amara gasped, her face twisted in pain. Within minutes, the delivery room was buzzing with activity. Nurses rushing in and out, Dr. Abdullahi giving rapid instructions, monitors beeping urgently. And Ibrahim, standing right beside Amara, holding her hand as she squeezed it with strength he didn't know she possessed. Push, Amara, push. Dr. Abdullahi commanded. I can't do this. She sobbed, exhaustion overwhelming her. Yes, you can, Ibrahim said firmly, his eyes locked on hers. You're the strongest woman I know. You've survived everything life threw at you. You can do this too. Another contraction hit. Amara screamed, pushing with every fiber of her being. I can see the head, the doctor announced excitedly. One more push. And then, the most beautiful sound Ibrahim had ever heard. A baby's cry. It's a girl, Dr. Abdullahi announced triumphantly, holding up the tiny, perfect infant. Amara collapsed back against the pillows, tears streaming down her face as she heard her daughter's strong, healthy cries. Ibrahim stared at the baby in wonder. This tiny miracle they had fought so hard to bring safely into the world. She's beautiful, he whispered, his own eyes wet with tears he didn't try to hide. Would you like to cut the cord? Dr. Abdullahi asked, extending the scissors toward Ibrahim. Ibrahim looked at Amara questioningly. Please, she nodded weakly but with a radiant smile. You saved both our lives. You should be the one. With trembling hands, Ibrahim carefully cut the umbilical cord, officially welcoming this precious child into the world. As the nurses cleaned and weighed the baby, Ibrahim leaned down to Amara. What will you name her? He asked softly. Amara looked at her daughter, then at Ibrahim, then back at her daughter. Destiny, she whispered. Her name is Destiny. Because that's what brought us together. By Friday morning, the entire nation was talking about Chief Bako and the pepper seller. Someone had secretly recorded him cutting baby Destiny's umbilical cord, and the video had gone viral across every social media platform in Nigeria. Breaking! Billionaire Chief Bako adopts poor woman's baby, screamed the headline of Daily Trust newspaper. Royal tycoon becomes father figure to market woman's child, declared Vanguard. The video had been shared over 2 million times on Facebook, with comments pouring in from every corner of the country. This man has a heart of gold. God bless Chief Bako. Why is he wasting money on someone else's child? Charity begins at home. Maybe she's his secret girlfriend and the baby is actually his. This is just publicity stunt for tax purposes. But the harshest criticism came from unexpected places. Chief Bako has clearly lost his mind, declared his business partner, Al-Haji Mustafa, during a heated phone conversation. Spending millions on a street beggar? What will our investors think? Sir, perhaps you should distance yourself from this situation, suggested his public relations manager nervously. It's affecting our corporate image. Even some of his own family members called to express their concerns. Ibrahim, what are you doing? His older sister, Hajia Aisha, demanded over the phone. People are saying you've lost your senses over some pregnant beggar. But Ibrahim didn't care. Not about the headlines, not about the criticism, not about the business implications. He had made his decision and he was at peace with it. That same Friday afternoon, he did something that shocked everyone even more. He walked into First Bank of Nigeria and opened an education account for baby Destiny with 10 million naira. This child, he told the stunned bank manager, will never lack anything. From nursery school to university, even if she wants to study abroad, everything is covered. Then he bought Amara a beautiful 3-bedroom house in the prestigious Barnawa area of Kaduna. And finally, he registered a new company in her name, Destiny Agricultural Enterprises, with 25 million naira starting capital. When reporters asked him why he was doing all this, Ibrahim's answer was simple. Because kindness should never require explanation, and because every child deserves a chance at greatness. Regardless of how they came into this world, the critics could talk all they wanted. Ibrahim Bako had found his redemption. 5 years later, good morning, students. Today we have a very special guest speaker. The auditorium at Kaduna State University fell silent as a confident woman in an elegant blue Ankara dress walked onto the stage, her heels clicking authoritatively against the floor. This was not the same Amara who had collapsed in the market 5 years ago. Her hair was beautifully styled, her posture radiated confidence, and her eyes sparkled with the fire of someone who had overcome impossible odds. "My name is Dr. Amara Musa," she began, her voice strong and clear. "And 5 years ago, I was a pregnant, abandoned woman selling peppers for 20 naira just to survive." Gasps rippled through the audience. "Today, I stand before you as the CEO of Destiny Agricultural Enterprises, one of northern Nigeria's fastest-growing export companies. We employ over 200 young women and export Nigerian products to 12 African countries." Thunderous applause erupted. "But I didn't get here by luck," she continued, raising her hand for silence. "I got here because someone showed me kindness when I had lost all hope, and because I refused to let my circumstances define my destiny." She paused, scanning the eager faces of the students. "How many of you have been told you're too poor to succeed? Too disadvantaged? That your background disqualifies you from greatness?" Hands shot up across the auditorium. "Let me tell you something," Amara said fiercely. "Your current situation is not your final destination. I was a pepper seller. Now I'm a PhD holder in agricultural economics and a successful businesswoman." More applause. "When life knocks you down, and it will knock you down, you have two choices: stay down and complain, or get up and fight for the life you deserve." She smiled, thinking of little Destiny waiting for her at home. Choose to fight. Always choose to fight. As she left the stage to a standing ovation, Amara whispered a silent prayer of gratitude to the man who had changed everything. Ibrahim Bako, her guardian angel, her friend, and the father figure Destiny adored. Because sometimes, one act of kindness can transform not just one life, but generations to come. Later that same day, at Bright Stars Academy, the most prestigious primary school in Kaduna, 5-year-old Destiny Musabako stood confidently at the front of her classroom. She was beautiful, with her mother's intelligent eyes and a smile that could light up any room. Her school uniform was pristine, her hair neatly braided with colorful ribbons, and she carried herself with the confidence of a child who had never known want. "Today I want to tell you about how I got my name," little Destiny announced to her classmates, her voice clear and strong despite her age. 20 other 5-year-olds leaned forward, fascinated. "My mommy told me that 5 years ago she was very, very sick and hungry. She was carrying me in her belly, but she had no food, no money, and no place to live." The children listened with wide eyes. "One day, mommy collapsed in the market because she was so weak. Everyone just walked by. Nobody helped her until..." Destiny paused dramatically, just like she'd seen her mother do during speeches. "Until a kind man saw her and decided to help. He carried her to the hospital, made sure I was born safely, and gave us a new life." "Who is the man?" asked her best friend, Fatima. "Uncle Ibrahim," Destiny beamed. "He's not my real daddy, but he loves me like I'm his own daughter. He pays for my school, buys me books, takes me to the park every Sunday, and tells me I can be anything I want to be." In the back of the classroom, hidden behind the slightly open door, Ibrahim Bako stood listening, tears streaming silently down his face. He had come to surprise Destiny with lunch, but instead found himself witnessing something far more precious. "And that's why my mommy named me Destiny," the little girl continued proudly. "Because she says that sometimes when people need help the most, Destiny sends them exactly what they need, in exactly the right moment." She looked directly toward the door, somehow sensing his presence. "Uncle Ibrahim always tells me that I can change the world one day. Just like he changed ours." Ibrahim stepped into the classroom, no longer able to hide his emotions. "Uncle Ibrahim!" Destiny squealed, running into his arms. As he lifted her up, spinning her around while she giggled with pure joy, Ibrahim realized something profound. 22 years ago, he had abandoned a pregnant woman and lost his first chance at fatherhood. But God, in his infinite mercy, had given him something even more beautiful. A daughter who chose to love him, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. And that was the greatest redemption of all. And so, the story of Chief Ibrahim Bako and Amara Musa comes full circle. What started as a moment of collapse in a dusty Nigerian market became a story of redemption, transformation, and the incredible power of human kindness. But here's the thing that will blow your mind. This story is not unique. Right now, as you're watching this video, there are thousands of pregnant women struggling to survive on the streets of Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, and every other city across Africa. There are young mothers selling groundnuts, pure water, and peppers under the scorching sun, hoping, praying, that someone will show them the same kindness that changed Amara's life forever. The question is not whether these women exist. The question is, what would you do? If you saw a pregnant woman collapse in your local market tomorrow, would you be like the crowd that walked away? Or would you be like Ibrahim, the man who chose compassion over convenience? You don't have to be a billionaire to change someone's life. Sometimes all it takes is buying a struggling mother some food, paying a student's school fees, offering someone a job instead of judgment, choosing kindness when the world chooses indifference. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that miracles happen when good people take action, then I need you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button to show that you believe in the power of human kindness. Second, share this video with someone who needs to remember that their current situation is not their final destination. Third, subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell because we bring you more incredible African stories of hope, transformation, and the power of never giving up. And drop a comment below. Tell me honestly, what would you do if you saw a pregnant woman collapse at the market? Would you walk away, or would you be someone's guardian angel? Remember, you have the power to change someone's entire destiny. The only question is, will you use it? See you in the next story, where ordinary people do extraordinary things.